as well. We'll also be joined by Arif Mohammad Khan, of course, the youngest cabinet minister to resign based on principle in the mid-80s during the Shah Bano case, came to prominence then as well. I'd like to start with Sudesh, and then I'd like to go to Mr. Arif Mohammad Khan. Sudesh, of course, this big controversy just before the elections. Do you think the reason behind it is not really what he's saying? It could be political as well?
Yeah, of course. You see, I'm wonderstruck, that why this happened, because see, there are many other Muslims in Parliament. They don't have any objection. So why should the member just get up and go? And if you talk about politics, then of course Sambal, the Lok Sabha constituency which he represents in Lok Sabha, it has 28% Muslim votes, and we are all talking about 2014 Lok Sabha elections. So there is a likely possibility that yes, he's pandering to his vote bank politics in the constituency.
Right. Let me go to Surajit right now. Surajit, what do you think? Do you think that Muslims as a bloc, some people say that they vote en masse as a bloc in the country. There of course have been instances when that has been disproved as well. But do you think taking religious objection to such an issue, the national song, do you think that has any merit?
First of all, I would like to say that this controversy has lingered on for much too long, and it needs to be resolved. Basically, you should deal with it linguistically as well as historically. Linguistically, Vandana is not Bandagi. Therefore, if Muslims think that doing Vandana, which is praise or extolling of your mother, is akin to worshipping your mother, it is wrong. This myth has to be dispelled. Now, how do you dispel this myth? I don't think it can be achieved by forcing it down their throat. There has to be a lot of discussion. I think there has to be a nationwide effort. People who are in favor of this song, people who are in favor of the national song, as well as the slogan, and those who are against it, must sit across the table and sort it out.
So you're saying the interpretation, what Mr. Burke has interpreted, is slightly wrong. But he's also mentioned, and I'm quoting him right now, that he has said that Vande-Mataram asks Indians to bow down to the Mata.
That's a misconception. A very popular translation of this song is "Mother, I bow to thee," and it's completely linguistically erroneous. The proper translation of Vande Mataram is "Hail Mother," and in Islam, as far as I have studied it, there is no objection whatsoever to praising the mother. In fact, in Islam it is said कि माँ के पाँव के नीचे जन्नत होती है, and therefore, still if this persists, as I said in the beginning, that there is a historical context also to it, because this song was taken from the context of Sannyasi revolution, and many perceive Sannyasi revolution to be anti-Muslim. And if that is so, another very conscious move was taken by the first Lok Sabha before it was incorporated as the national song.
Okay.
All the passages that hailed or upheld idolatry were expunged from the national song. Now what remains was supported by the Islamic scholars of that era, including Maulana Abul Kalam Azad.
Okay, let me stop you there. I want to go back to Sudesh right now. Sudesh, what Surajit said right now, can we then interpret that somewhere it was lost in translation and Mr. Burke completely completely wrongly interpreted? Like he said, it's bow down to the mother, it's not bow down to the mother, it's hail mother. So do you think it was lost in translation somewhere?
Yeah, I think getting into that nitty-gritty is of course getting into scholarly interpretation. But if you go by the normal assumptions which go, normally what happens? If it was a problem, then none of the Muslims would have supported this. But Muslims don't have problem. All Muslims don't have problem. Who are the Muslims who have problem? You have to see that. Is those people who are uneducated, illiterate, and they are under the grip of the ulamas. Ulamas tell them that Vande Mataram is a problem. I'm not just talking about the song. I'm talking about Vande Mataram as a slogan also. The slogan also is opposed in Muslim ghettos. Why? That is my question. You see, because this is the Vande Mataram song that united after Bengal was partitioned in 1905, and Muslims and Hindus came out on the street to oppose partition, and Vande Mataram was the song. So what is the problem? How this problem started?
Giving it a religious tint, of course, points towards having vested interests and of course maybe political purposes.
Of course, I don't know why religion should be taken in that way, because I can understand, because the Congress in 1937, Jawaharlal Nehru also, and as he was saying, Maulana was there, Maulana Jad was there, and there were other, Narendra Dev was there. So a committee was formed, and then the objectionable stanzas from Vande-Mataram was removed, basically to cater to the Muslim interest. Yes, of course, if the Vande-Mataram song worshipped Hindu goddesses, they should be removed because it is all Indian. So Muslims don't worship is fine.
Right. Okay. Let's get the other extreme. Vivasia Andrabi, leader of the Duftaran Millat from Kashmir, is on the phone line with us. Ma'am, thank you for joining us right now. What is your reaction to it? Mr. Buck walking out of the Lok Sabha saying that this is unacceptable to Muslims and Islam. What is your interpretation of the song? We seem to have lost the phone connection with us, and we will try and get back to her. But Surajit, in the meantime, like Sudesh said right now, it's also a problem in Muslim ghettos, so to say, that they oppose the song there as well. Why can't we just see it as a song that galvanizes masses and not just a religious song?
Well, I belong to this organization called Youth for Democracy, and we have thousands of Muslims in it who hail from the ghettos. They have no problem whatsoever with the song. It is only when some vested interests penetrate in these pockets and they take advantage of illiteracy or semi-education, I would call it, and lack of education about the history of the song. That is when the waters are muddied, and that is when they are given a certain direction with a political tinge. And I would say rather that the uneducated Muslims, the poor Muslims, have less of a problem with Vande-Mataram than the educated ones. The more, it is quite ironical that the more one gets educated, the more he also gets politically colored, which is very unfortunate.
But Suresh, what Surajit is saying is slightly contradictory. He's saying educated Muslims also have a problem with it.
Yeah, but I'm saying that ulemas, ulemas don't have grip on educated Muslim. Educated Muslim may have their vested interest, maybe say political reason. I would not call the particular MP uneducated. He's educated. So he may have vested interest. But those people, the larger mass, those who live in ghettos, they are under influence of the ulemas. So, I have interacted with a lot of them, and when I asked them that, okay, why do you oppose it? They said that we have been asked. They don't have any reason, So the whole point is, I'll come back to that, in 1937 we were discussing. So the controversial portions of Vande-Mataram was removed just to cater to the interest of Muslims in India, because you cannot impose something. So it was fine, it was accepted, and Muslims across the country also accepted, yes, it is fine. This Vande-Mataram is not, worshipping a Hindu goddess. It is talking about the country's beautiful culture, and you are taking Earth as Mother Earth.
So he's also saying, Shafiqur Rahman Burke is also saying that this is not the national anthem, this is the national song, and he highly respects the national song as well. So is it as binding if he walks out? Of course, it's not in the decorum of Parliament to walk out during a national song. Now that, of course, I agree with the Speaker Meera Kumar, but it's not binding, is it, or is it the same thing?
No, Vande-Mataram is not binding, and there is an option, and the option was given that if you don't want to sing, is fine. And you see, most of the time when we stand up, when Vande-Mataram is being played, so do you feel that we sing? We don't, because we don't know the song, we don't know the lines. You just stand up for reverence. Reverence because Parliament's tradition. You just stand up. You don't need to walk out. It's fine. You don't sing.
Do you buy the argument, Surajit, that he says that I respect the national anthem completely and I will stand and I will sing it with hand on my heart, but he will not do the same with Vande-Mataram? Do you buy that argument, saying that there's a difference, or one should be slightly more honored and the other one should be less honored?
Well, I don't find any reason for a person to hide behind protocols. As I said in the beginning, that this problem, this controversy has raged for far too long, and it must be settled. It is in the national interest that people who agree to this and people who disagree sit across the table, across the country, and sort out this matter, because this translation is at the root of all the controversy. And the other thing is, the previous point that I made about education, it also depends on how you are educated. Are you educated in a madrasa, in Arabic, or are you an English convent educated person? So, a Muslim who is convent educated and Muslim who has come from madrasa are expected to react differently to this.